Hey, hey, SMB Nation crowd, Harry Brailsford here, sneaking in a little bit of work right before the 4th of July with a like-minded worker bee, Steve Church of Cobalt Computer Systems out of Eugene, Oregon. So good morning, sir. Appreciate catching a moment with you before the fireworks start.
Yeah, good to see you.
So for those that don't know you, I mean, you've been active in the community and Facebook and some other venues, but go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us about your company, how old it is, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's Cobalt Computer Services. We're in Eugene, Oregon. We've been around about 11 years. We support the sub 15 user market. We do have those that are bigger than that, but our bread and butter is that smaller group that really likes to utilize IT instead of being the do-it-yourself crowd anymore, and leverages us to make it to where they can sleep at night and not worry about the problems that they create for themselves.
Yes, sir. And let's have a little fun, and then I'm gonna weave in official businesses as we do that. So tell us about your boat racing. That's new to me, and I'm gonna come see you in about a month.
So we race what's called a jet sprint boat. It's a sport that started in New Zealand. That's kind of the birthplace of the river sprints and the jet propulsion pump in the water. The guy they refer to as Sir Hamilton started that realm way back long ago, and then some guys decided they wanted to see if their boat was faster than their buddy's boat and started racing in rivers, and then it has grown to where it's actually put in a man-made track, and we are kind of, for those that don't know the sport, we're kind of like an autocross on water. There is a track with numbered corners. They give us a sequence of numbers, and we have to memorize it, go out there, and compete against the clock and race around this track. And it's given at least us some opportunity to race here in the United States. There's a couple of tracks in Washington, one in Idaho. There were some in Oregon, but the Lands Department kind of got in the way of those. And then there's also World Championships that happen both in New Zealand, Australia, and have occurred here in the United States. The next round, I think, is going to be in New Zealand. You basically go and race two series race, and the fastest boats with the most time or most points at the end of that race get crowned the national title or world title, depending on where it's at the time.
And these boats they're a little bit smaller, so they're not the what do we have up here with the Seattle Seafair, the big.
So, yeah. So our boats are about, the longest boat I think is about 14 feet. They average under 6 feet wide. There is a driver navigator. Then there's an engine, a pump, and that's it. So you're literally sitting on the front end of the engine.
And it looked like the pathways are relatively narrow that you shoot down, and it's not
they're
side
about
by
14
side
feet
racing.
wide, 6 feet
14
deep.
feet wide. Yep. And it's not side by side racing. It's not like the
No.
Olympics where 6 snowboarders are going down the hill bumping each other.
No, if we put two boats in a channel, the bigger concern would not only be the fact that if we could fit side by side, is that these pumps move anywhere from 3 to 4 to 1,000 gallons a second through them to make propulsion. So we may literally run out of enough water in the channel to have the boat actually be propelled forward.
Let's talk business. So your boat is sponsored by a friend of the SMB Nation community. So please introduce them, and then let's talk about how you work with this particular provider.
So this last off season, I put AppRiver, and AppRiver bid off on it and said, "Yeah, we'll sponsor your boat." And they have been very gracious in working with us in designing the wrap on our boat, also kind of allowing us to work with their marketing folks, which is kind of neat because they actually kind of give us some ideas. They've been slowly introducing the idea that we're going to be on some marketing material for them, and they're planning to come out and actually follow us around with some video cameras and get the quirkiness of what a race looks like and what we really do.
Yeah, and I think we're talking, for those that are in the Pacific Northwest, we're talking about July 27th up in Port Angeles. I have every intention to be there, put it on my schedule. Is the public welcome? Can listeners come on up?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yes, they are welcome. The Port Angeles track opens up at about 9 a.m. on that Saturday. You can pre-buy tickets. I think it's through Brown Bag is the company they use. You can also find them on Facebook under Extreme Sports Park. And on there you can proceed through. They have all the ticket purchasing and parking and all the little things you can do ahead of time. It's pretty easy find once you get to Port Angeles. It's just, of course, the drive to Port Angeles if you want to take the 101 Wiggly Way, or if you want to come up through Tacoma and shoot across.
Yes, sir. Well, it's a nice time of year. It's a nice drive. So let's now double click down on your business model and tell us how you work with AppRiver, being they're a CSP. How do you work with them?
With AppRiver, we use them for our hosted exchange. We use them, which we call private hosted, so it's not within the 365 cloud. We work with them. They have some other tools. They have DNS filtering, which is quite handy for those that have a tendency to click on things they shouldn't. And that'll kind of help you prevent some of the random wrong website directions if you happen to miss a letter or happen to have an employee that brings a cell phone in and gets on the network and does the same kind of compromising act. They also have some encryption tools we use to transfer files back and forth for some medical people and some accounting people. We use them as our 365 CSP person. The big leverage there, of course, is that you work with AppRiver for support, not with Microsoft directly for support, depending on that problem. We also work with they have journaling and archiving and other pieces, but that's more of a one-off by customer. But they've been, on the business side, I have found them to be one of the more helpful vendors when it comes to that one-off, really odd situation where you need to do like a half exchange, half 365, or half on-site, half exchange. And they definitely have some really knowledgeable support people that will go the extra mile, as well as your own channel rep. They actually like to help you through either in marketing dollars, depending on what you need to go to market stuff, and they'll brand flyers, email campaigns, whatever you're after. They tend to really want to help you grow your business, because then it'll grow their business.
And at the end of the day, and maybe the final comment for this month, by the way, we're going to keep checking in on you because you've got stories to tell. But at the end of the day, is any MSP today is using automation to leverage up. It sounds like not only is AppRiver part of that experience, but I'm also assuming you're using some other vendors for the different automation tools and so on. Is that can I cross that bridge with you?
Yep. We for our back-end RMM that we use a company out of New Zealand called Navarisk. I haven't quite got them to come on board with the boat yet in racing in New Zealand, but it is not out of the purview for me to want to get that conversation going. I did visit them in person twice now when I've gone down to New Zealand to race. We stopped by there in Auckland, stopped by their office, shake some hands, meet some people. They're in Auckland and in London. Well, maybe not London, England, I should say. And that way they kind of cover both markets. They can cover their own market for RMM support, and they can cover the American market with people out of England's time zone. So they're upside down and not upside down all at the same time.
Well, let's make that the final word. Thanks, Steve. And again, we're going to circle back to you and enjoy the boating season, as it were. Thank you very much. And thanks, Jenny, in the radio control room. Folks, have a great day.